Hi guys, that felt weird. What's up YouTube fam? Welcome back. Today I will show you how I did this glam with my 2020 makeup favorites, and yes, we ended up with a very glittery bronzy lid. So if you want to see that, I guess keep on watching and let's talk about all the good things that this year has brought us, because the universe knows it hasn't been a lot of things. You know, we all know. But there has been some great makeup products coming into my life this year, so that is what we shall talk about. Okay, I literally have nothing else to say. Let's get into the video. Oh, actually, for the new ones, I only use cruelty-free products. And while you're here, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe? You won't regret it for sure. And if you do, you can always unsubscribe. If I start annoying you, you're welcome to leave. I won't, I won't look you up and threaten you. For sure. I can't either way. I don't have that type of information. Let's get into the video. Can I just say, it's hella cold in New York City. Like, it's freezing right now. I was like, should I put something nice and fancy on to wear? And then I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay hot. So I'm wearing my hot jumper. And wow. If you don't know what those are, they are called pape. Basically, they are a part of the Balkan culture. You have to wear these on your feet. Not offering them to your guests is simply rude, and not accepting them as a guest is simply rude too, which is quite funny considering they're very ugly, but they're very comfortable and warm. So let's start off with primer. Honestly, there is just one. I have just used one primer this year, and it is the CoverFX SPF 30 Boosted Drops. If you follow me, you've seen this 1,000 times, so let's not stay too long on this one. It's an oil primer, and it has SPF 30 in it, and I have dry skin, so this suits me perfectly. Look at that. Oh gosh, foundation was a really hard one, but I ended up picking one which is truly my favorite, and it is the CoverFX Power Play Foundation. And here's the reason. While I apply it with my Beauty Blender, I have other foundations where I like the finish just as much as this one, but there is truly no other that matches my skin tone exactly as this one does. CoverFX, the reason why people like a lot of their base product, not only because they're high quality and they, sit really nice on the skin, and they don't patch up on you when you have dry skin and things like that, but they also have simply the best undertones for olive skin tones or for warmer undertones. That is the reason why I think their base products are so popular, like foundations and concealers and things like that, because look, do you see a difference between my face and my neck? No, you don't. I just can't believe this actually matches me as well as it does. Also, I would say it's like, you can do light coverage with it if you use a little and if you apply it with a damp beauty blender like I am, but you can also get medium to full coverage if you use a brush to apply it. In my last makeup video, I was really harsh with the beauty blender. I was watching myself when I was editing the video, and I was like, damn girl, you're punching your face with this beauty blender. I'm a person who stresses a lot because I want to get shit done quickly so I can then just chill, and so I think that's why I do things roughly, because I'm quick. So I'm just like, I'm also one of the most clumsy people in the world. I just break stuff, lose stuff, stain stuff, rip stuff all the time, fall over, embarrass myself. I'm very used to embarrassing myself. Isn't that just so natural and skin-like? For concealer, yes. I mean, This is gonna come to nobody's surprise, but it is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye concealer in medium tan. You can see how much this has been used, like what? And it's also almost empty. And I've had it for a long time because you need the tiniest amount of this concealer. I usually just use my finger. I like to use my finger for, well, I actually sometimes apply my foundation with my hands too, because I just like the product just looks so much better to me when I've heated it up a little bit with my hands, because I have dry skin especially. I kind of need that a little bit. But this concealer is my favorite out of all times because I am dry. And I honestly don't understand how people use matte concealers. I don't know if it's just my under eyes that turn into dry ball sacks or if it's everyone's, but you just can't see it with their kind of lighting and editing and everything else. Filters. But I just cannot make it work. And so a concealer like this that has more of a dewy finish, it's just the life that I lead. So that's that. Then I actually included a powder. I didn't think I would because I rarely set my face, almost never. Sometimes when I do my makeup, especially since I started with priming with an oil, I am starting to notice that like it takes maybe an hour and then my forehead starts looking a little bit too shiny. I can't believe that I'm saying this because I was literally the girl like 3 videos ago that was like, something's attached to that window. Is it a cat? No. Yes, I was the girl like 3 videos ago that said, listen, I like an oily glow. Like I wouldn't mind being oily, like oily skin type. Like I would love that. Now I'm like, I'm just gonna powder my forehead because it's starting to get a little too much. So I actually picked up this LA Girl Pro Powder powder in banana yellow, and I think it works quite well for me. I use the tiniest amount. I just dip my brush in there once and then I tap it off so there's barely anything left, and then I just do this. And it kind of makes my forehead look flawless, if I can say so myself. See? I just want to make sure that we're all still on board with Glow by Nats. We're never becoming matte by Nats. For bronzer, I have 2 very obvious favorites. One of them is fairly new. The Cover FX bronzing drops are fairly new. The Milani 05 Soleil Baked Bronzer is, I've been using that a little bit longer, and I'm actually gonna pick this one. I just like the warmth of this one a little bit more. It's also affordable. It's also more available to people around the world. And so I just was like, actually also I just like the product more because it gives me a little bit of a nice glow. The only thing is, I don't know if it's dried up on me a little bit, if I need to like scrape the top off, but I need to like really get like a dense brush in there because it's a little bit difficult to pick up product, but I have this really dense fluffy brush, so I just use that. And then I just start bronzing. So you see, like, even though I'm like digging my brush in there, it's like kind of difficult to overdo, which is something that I like. It's also got a little tiny bit of highlight in it, which means that it's gonna give you a little bit of like a natural glowy sheen. It's almost, you know, it's a very warm bronzer, which I like because I have my skin tone or my undertone is very warm. So it kind of matches me, but it's almost like that type of warmth that you don't really need blush if you don't want to. If you're like in a hurry, this is enough. That was bronzer. For blush then, I realized that the blush I've just simply been using the most is the Glossier Cloud Paint in Dusk. There's just nothing else like it. It has this kind of everyday like discreet shade on my skin tone, but it is a little tiny bit warm, which is why I love it. And so I usually just apply this with a brush. To be very honest, I've had a bunch of the cloud paints and they are a little bit difficult to apply just because they are a liquid formula, and that makes them just a little bit more tricky. Like cream blush is usually a lot more workable, like you can work it in, you can build it up and it turns out even. Whereas these, since they are liquid, they dry down fairly quickly, which means that they can turn patchy. I find that using a brush actually makes it easier, because there's something with applying a liquid blush that is supposed to, you know, be quite pigmented with your fingers, because it kind of, you know, you apply it and then it dries really quickly, and then you go in again and you kind of pick it up and it becomes patchy. But with a brush, you don't have that heat, you know, with your fingers, so it's easier to just do it more evenly. For highlighter, oh man, guys, highlighter it's been a rough year for highlighters. Because a couple of my highlighters were from very problematic brands. So a lot of the highlighters that I loved were taken away from me. But I do have one that was my all-time favorite, and it's just Isadora 34 Dewy Nude. And you know what's gonna happen with this one? They're discontinuing it. Great. But I'm gonna use it anyways, because it's been my fave of the year. You're gonna see what I mean when I say that I like a very dewy highlighter. I've been using this in every video, in every tutorial this last like 6 months at least. It's just got no sparkle in it whatsoever. It's just a very, very, very dewy, creamy highlighter. And I love it. And now it's getting discontinued. And I also realized that I just hit pan, so I'm like at the end of that. If you have any suggestions on great highlighters, like creamy, more like dewy, sweaty highlighters, please, please. Are we doing brows next? Yes, let's do brows. So for brows, I honestly barely have been switching it up, because for the last 4 months, I don't know what happened, but I started looking at my face and I was like, wow, you have been over drawing those brows for years, bitch. So I do have a couple of products that I use when I want to fill my brows in, but it's on very, very rare occasions. It's like when I do a full glam and I kind of need to balance it out with more of a thicker brow. But oh, that's a really long fucking... I use soap on my brows and it gives them no tint. It just makes them stand up, which gives them like double the thickness. I've shown this a couple of times, but watch and be amazed. I just put some like setting spray on that. Another day, another hair on my stuff. And then I just rub the spoolie in there. There we go. And then you just run it through your brows. Basically, this is what I do. And I used to then go in, kind of press the hairs down with my finger, but what I do now is I use the other end of the spoolie and I press them down, and that's my brow. And so as you can see, now all of a sudden I have like double the thickness in comparison to what I have when I don't style them like this. What I do sometimes when I do feel like I just need a little bit more of like, because as you can see, they're not super dark, which is a nice look. I love the Urban Decay Brow Blade. This shit, look at it. This is in the shade Neutral Nana, and it's just a perfect, like, kind of felt tip applicator, and it's just the easiest to create brow strokes with, or fake hair strokes. So for eyeshadow, this was actually really tough too, because I have been using quite a lot of palettes that I like, but I was trying to pick one that I've been using the most. I chose my Juvia's Place Nubian palette. It is a neutral palette, which is why I've been using it the most. So what I thought I'd do was actually pick another, not palette, but you guys know how much I've been loving the Pixie glitters. I've been using them like crazy, and I thought, why not also pick a favorite glitter? So Pixie Quads, they win. I haven't tried that many other glitters, but I don't feel like I have to, because they're just so good. They're so easy to use. They're like in between a pressed shadow and like some kind of a creamy formula. You like just put them on and they kind of stay on. There's not a lot of fallout. They're very easy to apply. They're just so straightforward. Everybody should own them. If you want one glitter, it should be this. So I'm gonna do a look with the eyeshadow palette and yeah, do some glitter on top because it's the holly jolly holidays. Do you not feel jolly? Quickly gonna prime my lids a bit. Did I bring out a concealer that I can prime my lids with? No, I didn't. Give me a second.
Lol.
I'm just using this very like big fluffy brush and going into this kind of transition shade here, light brown. And I'm just gonna keep this very simple. I'm just going to go into kind of my crease and start blending this out. I'm going for a more round shape today. Something like that. I'm gonna go in to that more warm dark brown right here. And I'm gonna start more like contouring out my eye, which is a really good technique for hooded eyes. And so I'm just placing that closer, like kind of right in my crease. Kind of like something like that. And let's just blend on the top. And I'm gonna take that bronzy glittery shade and I'm just gonna put that all over my lid. This is just gonna be a little bit of a base for that glitter we're going in with. And then also with that glitter shade, just gonna sort of very thinly line this lower lash line. So this is the Gold Lava one, and I'm gonna go in with that very like bronzy shade right there. And I'm just gonna take my ring finger once again, and I'm just gonna dab this all over the center of my lid, like that, until I feel like I've got enough coverage. I'm also going to go a little bit upwards because I want it to be visible a little bit more. So just a little something like that. And if you feel like it gets a bit clumpy, what you can do is just go in with a bigger brush and sort of try to, there you go. For mascara, you already know. You already know. If you watched one video on this channel already, you already know. This is the CoverGirl Total Cheese Waterproof Mascara. There's only so much you can say about a product, and I've said it all and more, and so we're just gonna fast forward this. Let's do some lips. For lip liner is actually something I started using in 2020. I didn't use it before because I didn't really understand how to use it with my lips because I have a very like prominent cupid's bow. Like when you see girls on social media use lip liner, usually they have like very plump, very like round lips. And so I just didn't really understand it. Anyways, my all-time fave is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Liner in Sandstorm. As you can see by the what's left of it, I've been using it quite a lot. This is like 1 or 2 shades darker than my actual lip color, so if I want to fake my lips just a tiny bit and make them a tiny bit bigger, this is a perfect pencil. And then for lip gloss, I didn't pick a lipstick because I haven't been using lipsticks at all. I've actually been using glosses, which is weird because they used to use lip products at all, but this year has changed me for the good. So this is the Makeup Revolution lip gloss in Knockout. It's just a peachy, very pretty shade. Oh, sorry. And I just pop this on. Ooh la la. That's my finished look. All right, you guys, this is my finished look, my full face of 2020 favorites. I hope you like this idea and that you found a couple of products that you might want to try. I know for a lot of people that follow me, that watch all my videos, maybe this was a little bit of repetition, but I just wanted to talk about, you know, the products that I actually loved and that I would buy with my own money. Most of them I actually think I have bought with my own money. Yes, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.